Hi everybody, today we're looking at a NAYA Reanimator style list that uses Titan of Industry and Sanctuary Warden over on the top end as the big beefy things we want to reanimate using Invoke Justice. To get those things into the graveyard, we're running Fable of the Mirror Breaker, Restoration of Eiganjo, great value sagas that help us dump things in the graveyard, draw cards, or get a plains, and then stick around afterwards, acting as kind of tertiary threats and just more things that the opponent has to deal with. Also a little bit of resistance to things like Invoke Despair too. We're also running Raffine's Informant as another way to get things into the graveyard and be a decently sized body to pressure some opponents with. Spirited Companion, it's great for the draw, it's great to bring back in a pinch with Restoration of Eiganjo. And we're also running Cathartic Pyre, another classic way to dump things into the graveyard and get them ready for reanimation. The 3 damage to creatures and planeswalkers doesn't hurt either. To support all this, we're running 4 copies of the Wandering Emperor. It's our primary mode of life gain outside of the Titan, and helps to exile troublesome threats from the opponent. Also running 1 Elder Dragon War in here to take care of some early threats and create a dragon. Also another way to dump things into the graveyard should we need it. Yeah, so overall this was a fun one, pretty straightforward to play, but you still get some interesting lines of play when you do it. Just a lot of options with all of the sagas ticking forward every turn, decisions about what to invoke justice, and then specifically what to put the counters on afterwards. So just an all-around fun deck. Glad I get to share it with you today. Now I'm going to stick around and give you some commentary as we play this deck on the ranked standard ladder. But first, thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, this looks decent enough. The plan is we're going to dump these Titans with a Cathartic Pyre, and we get to get some draws in with the doggos, so we're going to keep this. Jetmir's Garden turn 1, and untap land turn 2. All of our colors online. Everything coming up Millhouse. Yep, 1 more untapped land. Makes me pretty comfortable to keep drawing with the doggo for now. Try to Cathartic Pyre. Actually, we can Restoration one of these Titans away. I would rather get rid of this Shredder now and buy us a little more time. Or if they would like to do it for us, we can do that.
Happy to help, but
doesn't make sense to make us sack the doggo. Easy choice to submit the Titan to discard with Lily. Sundown Pass. Now we can do both the Spirited Companion and the Informant, which will help us draw closer to and Invoke Justice, which is kind of what we're looking for. No need to do that pre-combat. Let's keep Lily low.
I really don't have time for you.
Draw there. Let's see what we get off this Connive. Let's see. Not sure we need a second one of those at the moment. Again, just looking for Invoke Justice while building up a meaningful board presence.
Drop it.
With our mana base, it's pretty hard to actually hard cast this Titan. So we are going to discard that again. Let's do Informant first. We'll probably Restoration after that. Yep, we'll discard the tap land. Restoration, we can bring back our other Informant next turn. Excuse me. Yep, we'll just keep hitting Lily.
You chose the wrong day to cross me. We all have things we'd rather.
Discard the land they know about. They got a chaplain down there now. Yeah, I think we've got an Informant down there. Let's go grab it. I was wrong. Okay, well, no problem. Kind of worked out either way, though we no longer get to connive. Let's try to put this to bed. Seems decent. Let's do it while they're tapped out. Think we are going to put some counters on the dog. Titan's going to get rid of this enchantment holding on to our other thing. We don't need the life. And they most likely play some exile effects, so we're going to skip the shield counter for now. Try to connive into another Invoke Justice. We will sacrifice a creature.
Sacrifices must be made.
This gives all of their creatures Ward 1. It's flying First Striker. Architect of Restoration will be up for next turn. We've got another Invoke Justice here. They can't kill our Titan. They can't really effectively block anything, so let's attack. See what happens. Nothing. Well, let's get another Titan. Will target me. We'll put some counters on everybody. Titan comes into play. We will do a shield counter this time, just for the sake of caution. Put it on the Architect, because if that's the only thing that survives, we can rebuild a board with it. And that'll wrap it up. All right, good game. All right, back with another NAYA Reanimator game. In addition to the Reanimator aspects, we've got kind of just a good value game plan with these two sagas. Enables the rest of our strategy, but also just left alone by themselves, if that's all we've got left, you can certainly win a game that way. And we'll lead off with the Crag, into Plains, into Sundown Pass. Just a Plains from us while we work towards these 3 drops that are going to set us up nicely for the rest of the game. Most likely dropping Fable on the following turn. Could also do Eiganjo to get a Plains ready for this Invoke Justice, though. We'll see what kind of lands we pick up. Alright, Graveyard Trespasser means we might want to wait on that. That means we're probably doing Restoration right now. Because we want to dump right before we're ready for Reanimation. So to do that, we're definitely going to need to draw our lands on time. This will help us with that. Opponent just getting in for 3 and flipping over to night mode. We can discard something here and get a free draw. Off of the dog, I mean. We draw Fable. Alright, well, I think we're going to have to trust in the heart of the cards here. Lay Fable now. And trust that in the 2 cards that we draw next turn, there will be an untapped land. Likely going to discard Cathartic Pyre and Warden. Opponent going straight for a Takenuma here. Not sure what's up with that. blitzing an underdog. So it's take 7 or take 4. If this survives, we're guaranteed the 5th land to help us invoke justice. Yeah, knowing my deck, we're going to go with that. Just that added bit of security. Oh, there's a non-land card. All right, so Restoration flips over. Fable's going to have us discard. I think we are going to do this Warden and the Pyre, kind of the least useful of our non-reanimation targets. We did just barely draw that land, only one in the top 3. All right, our target for Invoke Justice is the Warden. We will choose me. We will put counters on the Architect and the rest on the Warden. We will remove 1 shield counter from this Warden. Draw a card. And I think we're going to get in with the rest of them. Should be okay. Great. Meat hook for 2. One of the reasons we put a counter on the Architect was to try to keep it out of the range of that. Wow, an opponent scooping it up from there. It's a lot to come back from, and depending on your draw, could be difficult. Well, good game, opponent. All right, all right. NAYA Reanimator. We've got enough dogs to draw into some lands. We've got a Cathartic Pyre to drop this Warden in the graveyard. All we're missing here is an Invoke Justice. I think we're in a good position to get started. All right, opponent has stopped presenting in their Zoom call, so we get to get going. We'll lead with Sundown Pass so we can Spirited Companion on time on turn 2, when my deck inevitably skips my land for this next draw. All right, our opponent has given their quarterly sales update, so they've got a few minutes to take a turn, hopefully. We will Spirited Companion here. Draw a card. Building towards Invoke Justice. Opponent will pilfer, but that's not going to hurt too much right now. We want the Warden in the graveyard. My guess is they're going to take the Emperor. Cathartic Pyre is a pretty clear signal that we're trying to reanimate things over here. So I think that means doggo number 2. We'll draw into this Titan here, which will be nice. Get that tap land going and hit for 1. Opponent with a Celestus. We draw another reanimation target. Let's wait until the last possible moment on this Pyre, just in case they want to drop a Graveyard Trespasser and pluck both of these things out of the grave. We'll be dropping a Warden and a Titan just for flexibility. Big score here. Let's take a look. This doesn't see much play outside of my decks, and you know what kind of decks I like to play. I'm expecting a big score here, so we'll need to hang on to this Titan in case that pops up. Probably should have waited on this. Didn't realize it was the opponent's combat step, but they don't have anything going on, so we will keep moving towards Invoke Justice. The thing that's going to get us there fastest is this Fable, so we'll get that running. Attack with a trio of dogs and pass it back. Should we fail to draw Invoke Justice this turn, we've always got hard castable Sanctuary Warden if we need it. Now, Shieldred does put a little bit of a damper on that plan, but it looks like Eiganjo is going to help us there. Let's toss 1 Restoration, see what we get. It's worth the life. That's the amount of life you'd pay off of Greed, that old enchantment. Not sure if that was Legends or just around Legends, but Somehow they thought Necropotence would be a good idea after that. Anyway, I digress. We're going to play this Plains. We're going to get in with all of our creatures. Probably no blocks. Opponent probably going to smell this Eiganjo coming. They do not. In that case, we will trade for this doggo if we can get away with it. Crystal Grotto over here, a little bit of mana available. They could still cut the doggo down if they want to save Shieldred. It was not to be. Let's see, we're going to get a flipped Fable next turn. Let's go ahead and get a second Fable online. Just in case we run into a board wipe, it's nice to have these in reserve so that they can start flipping up after things get wiped and we don't have to spend mana on them on future turns. There it is. There's an opponent after my own heart. We got a bombardment online, folks. They're going to pilfer to activate it. Warden goes to the grave. This pleases me very much. All right, we're looking at Mardu Bombardment so far. Okay, okay. Well, this Pyre is not going to help us as is, so let's definitely get that out of here. We'll hold on to the Crag. Maybe bait out some more pilfers at this point. We've got enough treasure to hardcast any Titan that we draw. What else we got down there? Pilfer and Big Score. They probably run Burn Down the House as a board wipe, maybe some Depopulate, so they're going to have enough mana to do both of those if they find it. Oh, especially with those draws. Discarding a Shakedown Heavy, though. Interesting. Nothing to pilfer, but the opponent on plenty of mana to try and take care of this board. I'm rooting for you. I'm pulling for you. I know. Come on. Opponent could have drawn into an instant to do on our turn. All right, Invoke Despair. Going to help them draw a little bit. We can afford to sacrifice one dog. Let's get rid of this enchantment to keep them from drawing too much. They got 3 mana left to activate something on our turn. They opt for Revelry for the life gain. That's going to help a lot. A little more life from the Celestis. They draw and pitch a Shakedown Heavy. I think what we need to do is copy the dog and see what we draw. And there is Invoke Justice. Oh, I am happy to see you. I think we're going to spread some counters around and make these folks a little more effective. But right now, let's get that Titan going. We'll target me. Counters on. A little bit everybody. Yep, that'll take care of the bombardment and going to be super tough to deal with that board after this. Burn Down the House. I commonly play it, and so it's hard to use Burn Down the House to deal with all these small threats and then still have a large Titan of Industry left over. I've thought about playing versions that use Depopulate or another white board wipe that gets rid of everything unconditionally. But the downside there is if you run too many of those in your deck, it gets picked up by bombardment and it doesn't let you win the game like Burn Down the House does. So you can sometimes get stuck with a Depopulate, which is nice against an aggressive deck, but then you really struggle to close out the game sometimes. But anyway, close game from our opponent. I love the build that you made there. And yeah, I might have to try out a Mardu build myself. I see they're taking the strategy of putting a few permanents in there. They've got Shakedown Heavy. What was the other one? Shieldred. Things that can help you draw into more ways to activate bombardment. And Sunset Revelry is a nice forgotten gem that could help you stay alive. So thanks very much, opponent. Enjoyed the game, and I'm definitely going to take some of these ideas and see if we can move forward with another arcane bombardment list of my own. Good game.